blind man's store was in the middle like of Mackenzie. Everybody went to his store because it was closer. The first blind man they had, he would let people have stuff on credit. He could feel money and tell you what, was it a $5 bill or $1 bill and all that.
He was blind, but you didn't put nothing on him, you know.
The sort of the big joke in the kids in my age group is that we would always have enough money to get something from the blind man's store, because you could actually get 2 cookies for a penny. So if you had a sweet tooth and you had a penny, you could satisfy that sweet tooth by going to the blind man's store and getting a 2 for a penny cookie.
I don't know how, but you couldn't cheat him with that money. He knew what that money was. He could tell that.
Just a regular little store, where people would go in and get their little stuff, like potato chips and drinks and stuff like that.
Yeah, he had a list of where he go. See, you couldn't go get it. He had to get it. It was where he had to bring it to the counter to you. No, you couldn't get around in there.
I honestly, I debated about whether or not the people who ran the blind man's store were really blind. I swear they could see. Like if a kid came in the store and picked up some candy and didn't pay for it, you hear the blind man say, "Okay, come back here, Timmy, and pay for that candy." So, okay, how do you know it's Timmy if you're blind?
They had a deal with the people that was helping the blind people.
Oh, okay.
And there was a deal that they were in their store. Yeah. And one of it was the old man at first, but then it was a young man. He ran.
Which was Henry Weaver. He got married and he moved over in Mackenzie Court, right across the street. He ran the store.
Yeah, I used to fix hair too. Had a little shop at where I was living at that time. And I used to fix the blind man's wife after he got married, because he wasn't married when he first moved in here. So he had the little store at first. And then later on, I ran the store with the kids when I started working over here in Mackenzie Court.
The Tin Top, when Aunt Mary got it, it became a restaurant.
And she cooked fish sandwiches. And that's what all she had, I do believe.
It probably gained or reached its height of popularity when Miss Moore was running it and she was selling fish. And she would sell these fish sandwiches. I can't remember how much they cost, but it wasn't really expensive. And you just have enough fish almost to feed your family.
We lived across from what they called Tin Top. And they had a Tin Top restaurant that sold the best kind of soul food at one point. And also sold fish, pan trout, whiting is what we called it.
So really, she was about the only cafe on this side of town at that time.
Tin Top, it used to be, they had a little something you call like a little restaurant where they sold most of the fish. Then on the next little corner there was a barber shop. So we used to go out and get fish, and sometime at night, and I used to go in and get my hair cut at the barber shop sometime.
She'd give you enough fish. I don't know how she did it. If it was 10 people in your family, everybody could eat some of that fish.
We made the mistake of calling the sandwiches Mary Moore's. And somebody would say, well, would you go get me a Mary Moore or go get me 2 Mary Moores? And, I went down one day, little smarty pants, and I went down and I said, can I get 2 Mary Moores? She looked at me and she says, so what are you going to do with me? And I said, I want 2 Mary Moores. And she says, I'm Mary Moore. What are you going to do with me? And I thought, oh, my God. And I said, I want 2 fish sandwiches. And she says, don't you ever come in here asking for another Mary Moore, because that's asking for me. So I learned not to call them Mary Moores anymore, just to, call them fish sandwiches. But, yeah, she had the best fish in the world.
And she sit and cook fish all the time at her cafe. And if you didn't act right, she didn't think you act right, or she looked at you and didn't like your looks, everybody else will go by except you, and you'd be still standing there waiting on your fish. That's just the type of person she was.